Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a very special edition of the Holy Sparks podcast. I'm live here with my friend Nathaniel at Chabad of Richmond. You can see the ark in the background. And we're going to get to why we are here in just a moment. But without further ado, let me edify the man properly. Nathaniel Solomon is a Kundalini yoga meditation instructor. He graduated from the Kundalini Research Institute and has been practicing yoga and meditation for over 15 years. Nathaniel holds a BA in English Literature from George Mason University and studied rabbinics, Chassidut, and Kabbalah at Beit Midrash Or HaChaim, Yeshivat Simchat Shlomo, and Yeshivat Sulam Yaakov in Jerusalem, Israel. Nathaniel's yoga classes consist of a full workout spirited with breathing exercises and chanting. He teaches practical, ethical, effective yoga exercises from both Eastern and Western traditions, appropriate for all levels of experience. Nathaniel is a member of Yoga Alliance and IKYTA, International Kundalini Teachers Association. And I'm proud to call him my friend. It's been about 20 years?
20 years, yeah. Maybe,
nice to see you, brother.
Longer. I think a little
Welcome
bit longer.
to the podcast. This is only the second time I've done an in-person podcast like this, so this is great. How are you doing today?
I'm good, so how are you doing? Rosh Hashana is right around the corner.
Coming up, man. I feel the gravitas coming, you know? It's a big blessing and a big responsibility. So I definitely want to get to your whole journey, but for people that don't know you, why don't you tell a little bit about your growing up, your youth, and then we'll get into your Jewish journey.
Okay, I am originally from Virginia and right outside of D.C., and I came out here in the mid-90s. I'd really say 96. The first time I came out here was in 1989, but I moved out here officially in 1996, and I've been Bay Area, Northern California ever since.
Did you come to Berkeley, or where'd you come?
I came to El Cerrito, which is almost is the Berkeley area,
Okay.
and I landed there with some friends from Washington, D.C.
Beautiful. Okay. Now talk about your growing up. Did you grow up Jewish? Did you go to Jewish day schools? Talk about that a little bit.
I did not grow up Jewish. I actually converted to Judaism over 20 years ago, maybe 23, 24. I've actually lost count. As they say in the Bay Area, what a long, strange trip it's been. It's been over half my life. I don't want to say my age online, but I'm over 50, but I'm still young.
Okay, so, well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first time I've had someone that's, people call it different things. Nowadays, I think they call it Jew by choice, whatever, member of the tribe. And I really want to, if you don't mind, let's unpack that a little bit. What was that process like, and what can you say about that?
How I came to Judaism is interesting. I actually had a connection with Rastafarian reggae music for a very, very long time. As a matter of fact, I went through the whole process of conversion with very long dreadlocks. Very, very interesting trip. Saul met me when I had long hair. I actually shaved my head right after the pandemic just happened. I was looking for a fresh start, and the world's been kind of crazy. But now I'm
Hey, looking
just
clean,
like,
man.
yeah. Just
Most
like,
people don't know. I had long hair for 20 years, man, like down to here. But there are photos online. Don't Google me. But no, we met when he was full on Rastafarian. But so were you part of that tradition?
Yeah, I was part of that tradition. I traveled to Jamaica, and I had a lot of friends. I met this one inspirational, interesting person after actually I came out to California, and his name was Ilika. He actually had a diploma in Rastafari, if you ever believe that, from the Nyabingi House of Theocracy. He said his name means God walks, kind of like Halakha, Ilika.
Oh, like halacha?
That's right, exactly. And he inspired me to read the Bible. I wasn't reading the Bible so much then, and I started reading more and more, and then eventually I made a trip to Jamaica with some friends. I came back, and shortly after that, I went to synagogue for my very first time. And that was actually on the high holidays. There's a lot of things that happened in between that time. Then I went to synagogue. I actually went to university, and I learned Hebrew at UC Berkeley, and I learned Arabic too. So I speak Hebrew and I speak Arabic. I can read Arabic, basic Arabic, like the newspaper and dictionaries, but my strength and my strong skills are in Hebrew. That's kind of where things started. After that, I went to a synagogue after I'd learned Hebrew fluently, and my first time in a synagogue was actually Rosh Hashana,
Amazing. Here in the East Bay, in the Bay?
right here in the East Bay.
Which school was it?
It was um uh, it was Chabad.
How about Berkeley?
Yeah,
Rabbi
yeah,
Ferris?
yeah, yeah. It was Chabad. Yeah, it was Chabad Berkeley, and it
Okay.
was in um what's that place? That hotel
Oh, the
about right across the street
Hotel
from
Durant?
Hotel Durant.
Has that
Yes,
been?
yes.
Okay. Okay, so which is amazing on so many levels because you probably coming into that service were more fluent in Hebrew than many people that were there. Facts.
It's
Hashtag facts.
it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
I could already. I picked up the cedar, and I just started flying, and it was a very nice introduction, dip into the pool of Yiddishkeit, the world of Judaism, and I was it all. And it's very, very the Shliach Tzibor of Chabad Berkeley. He's legendary in his own ways. He's very, very soulful, very soulful. So I think a lot of that had to do. The services were very nice. So that was my first time going to service was Rosh Hashanah.
And for anyone that doesn't know that word, Shliach Tzibor is the person that's leading the prayer, and I think you're referring to Rabbi Ferris?
Yes.
Okay, good friend of ours. That was great. Okay, so first service, Rosh Hashanah. I mean, you just started in the deep end of the pool. There was no morning minion. You just went full on. And then what happened after that in terms of your Jewish journey?
The Jewish journey, I think, just started right then.
Okay.
Like the official, Shomrei mitzvot, keep the commandments, keeping Shabbat. I think that was like a major turning point. I'd already actually traveled throughout the world, through Europe and different places. I was well seasoned, and I was obviously looking and searching for something, and it had already gone through the efforts of how to learn Hebrew and speak Hebrew. And I guess it was just a gradual, organic next step was to just start getting more and more involved. And they gave me a book of Psalms,
Mm-hmm.
Ohel Yosef Yitzhak,
Mm-hmm.
the Sefer Tehillim,
Mm-hmm.
and I used that, and that became one of my best friends.
The Psalms, beautiful. Now, if I'm hearing you correctly, and I could be wrong, it seems like you went zero to fully observant relatively quickly. Or, I mean, most people that I know that have made that transition, it's a long time from like their first exposure to Judaism to becoming fully Shomer Mitzvot. What was your timeline like?
The timeline was gradual.
Okay.
It wasn't like, I was still, I looked different from everybody else. So I was holding on a lot to that identity, but also trying to be open and learn and make new friends and get involved. And so it was all a gradual process. I'm still here, keeping the commandments, holding the Torah. There's actually a minyan that's been going on right here in the place that's hosting us
Mm-hmm.
throughout the summer. And it's been really nice for the summer activities, for the Mekamori, for something to do. I've been bringing my son. He actually just had his bar mitzvah. So it's been a very nice time, and it's been time for me to be a proud papa, to be sit there and sit with my son and have him participate and be involved in the minyanim here.
Beautiful. Hodaya.
Hodaya.
Yes, glory. Well, that's how I would translate that. Okay, so I want to draw a little more of your story because it's fascinating and phenomenal. Question: does, in fact, Rastafarianism that you experienced, is there any connection to Judaism? I know they consider themselves one of the lost tribes, I think, but in terms of anything else, is there any overlap?
There's absolutely a connection.
Okay.
There's a complete overlap, and it's very interesting because I was in yeshiva with long dreadlocks. I was out of many one, as they say.
Uh-huh.
And that was a very interesting experience. But that was actually one of the questions that a lot of the Rebbeim, they'd come up and actually ask me personally and stuff. They would be like, so do you think there's a connection? So you're not the only person that has come and asked me that connection. I say, absolutely, there's a connection between Rastafarianism, Judaism, the five books of Moses, the heart and soul of the Jewish people. I'd absolutely say there's a connection that we're all one. There's a lot still to transpire as we go down the road.
I mean, okay. So at what point did you decide you want to fully be Shomer Mitzvot, like observe Shabbat, Kashrut, etc.? I mean, I know it's a gradual thing, but oftentimes there's like some moment where people feel, okay, this is the this is the path that I want to take. This is right for our family. And oftentimes it can happen with the meeting of a spouse, right? Or it's their own personal journey. So do you remember that? Was there a moment or an event?
I will say there was a moment. It was actually after I got back from my first trip from Israel, because the truth is that after I went to Jamaica, I went to Israel. I was like, let me see what's
Mm-hmm.
really,
Mm-hmm.
really, really going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so I came back from Israel, and this was like late 90s, late 90s. And after that, I was like, you know what? This is the path. I'm in my mid 20s. And like I said, it's been over 20 years now. I'm still holding the same, reading my Tehillim and my Psalms, and involved with keeping the commandments, doing the prayers, the davening. And I would say that what's been really helpful is that I've been blessed to be exposed to so many wonderful and unique teachers along the way. I've had the experience to attach myself to some pretty old school Hasidic rabbis, and that's been an experience in themselves just to sit and learn with them every day. They say that like when you learn Torah with somebody, you join souls. Your
Mm-hmm.
souls they bind or they join. There's a kesher at that moment, and so. Uh, when I came back from Israel, I decided this is it. This is for life, and it's just been a gradual, organic growth that has led to a lot of davening, a lot of praying, a lot of studying, meeting a lot of good people, simchas, a lot of going around and having really, really interesting conversations with very beautiful people. And what I want to say is that one of the really good things is that the meals that we've been having out here, the kiddishes in the bay, and 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 everybody that be coming through, because Berkeley's actually kind of a place where everybody comes in. You got a lot of intellectuals coming in, but it's also a place where a lot of people come in from Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a lot of people out here that they get inspired and they go and they make Aliyah, they move to Israel. And so the Bay Area is full, especially Berkeley and stuff, is full of people who they've just been so inspired by what's been in front of them that they've decided that they've wanted a little bit more and they've wanted to go and explore the Holy Land. And it's been a pleasure, and it's been a blessing to be out here in Berkeley and be involved with the community out here.
Nice. And did you guys live in Israel for a year? Is that
We did. We made Aliyah.
okay? Why'd you come back?
We came back during the first time they used the Iron Dome.
Okay.
We
For
had a
those of you,
small child,
uh
and we held on to our house for a while and went back and forth for a while because the eventual we wanted to have a holiday home because people who are really 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 doing well, they get to a certain place and they want to have a place where they can go for the Hagim, and that's what we wanted to do at the time. After we came back, we're like, well, let's just hold the place for a holiday home. We lived there, and we came back and we went back and forth for a while, but we want to return, and especially since our son just got bar mitzvah, because now it's really, really a time to let him experience
For sure.
Eretz
So
Israel.
really, you felt like, and this is something that is not uncommon, like maybe not the safest place to raise a young child. Is that kind of largely the impetus for coming back? Because some people feel a multitude of ways about this. Some people feel like it's way safer there. Some people feel differently, but yeah.
No, it's definitely a good place to raise your kids. I encourage anybody that has the inspiration and the drive
Mhm.
and the pocketbook.
It's not cheap.
If you can make it happen, Eretz Israel, Eretz Kodesh, raise your kids. It's a Yerusha. It's an inheritance.
Mhm.
It's a kut. It's a merit, and if you can do it, do it.
Yeah, amen. Okay, so any advice that you would give to someone if someone's listening to this podcast or watching and they're thinking about converting or thinking about, there's a lot of people that listen from all over the globe and maybe some are thinking, oh, maybe that's a path for me. What would you recommend or what would you suggest?
You got to really want it, people, and it's got to come from the inside. Pray and pray again. Pray some more. Hashem is there. Hashem will help you.
Amen. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what you're doing now with yoga, kundalini, meditation. Tell me a little bit of the landscape of what you're offering these days.
I'm teaching Kundalini Yoga these days and meditation. I teach it actually from varied perspectives. I like to teach it from a Jewish perspective, meaning that I like to teach meditation with words from the Torah, words from the Psalms, and how somebody can connect and feel more, I would say, in alignment with the words that they're speaking while they're praying. That's kind of a short introduction, but it's very multi-layered and there's a lot to it. So if you have any more.
Yeah, and do you teach online, in person? Where could somebody go to learn from you the
I
meditation?
teach in person primarily. You can go to throwtograceyoga.com. You can check out my website or kundalinicoach.net.
Hmm.
And I offer private classes for people that are interested in learning about meditation, Kundalini Yoga. I also teach Qigong. And right now, I primarily freelance, teach around the Bay Area, and I teach on a military base. And I've been teaching there for over a year.
Nice. So the question I always get asked, I teach Jewish meditation also, is like, well, what makes it Jewish? Isn't it just Vipassana with a tallis? Or isn't it just, metta, loving kindness practice in Hebrew? What in your opinion makes what you were teaching Jewish meditation as opposed to something else?
Well, I wouldn't label it as Jewish meditation. I'd label it
Okay.
as meditation that you can use for your Jewish practice. And it can increase your, help you go deeper, is really what I like to say. Just help you just go a little bit deeper and explore because there's many, many, many levels and many, many, many ways to serve Hashem Yitbaraka Kodesh Baruch Hu within the confines of Halakha de Rabbanan.
Yeah, I mean, they used to say the ancient mystics would meditate for an hour before prayer and then an hour afterwards, right? And I got to do that for 5 days.
That's right. It's in Tractate Brakot, I
Yeah,
think.
it is very powerful, to put it mildly. For me, meditation really saved my life and my mind and my sanity 25 years ago, and I've been doing it literally every day since. So certainly I would encourage you to connect to Nathaniel, start a practice of your own because look, if it only makes you 1% happier in life, it's worth it, right? If it makes you a 1% better person in the world, and then there's certainly multiple layers that can come after that. So definitely encourage you to connect him as well. Now, Kundalini yoga, as opposed to other types of yoga, just kind of give a little short devar on why Kundalini and what differentiates it.
Kundalini yoga is actually like a multifaceted yoga. It's called the yoga of awareness, and within it, there is all the branches of yoga. And it has several different components. It has breath work, it has chanting, and it has postures. Uh, what I really, really have found interesting about it, what somebody could use to help deepen their prayer, especially if they're somebody who reads the Siddur, reads the Book of Tehillim, the Book of Psalms, is to start working with chanting Amen. That's like that's one of the first things that you can do. It's not only is it a word of power, but it's a word that they say actually is a seal to make your prayer, make it be so. So one way to do it is that you got this section in the back of, or not in the back, but in the Shakri, in the Siddur. It's right before the Amidah, and there's this section where you say Atahu. I think it starts with Ezra Avotenu, right? It's like the help of our forefathers. That's how you translate it.
Mm-hmm.
And Atahu means
Like you are he,
you are,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Right.
you are him. And so
Uh-huh.
who is also an interesting word to meditate on. But Amen. So every time you say Amen, you can start to say it by extending how you say it, by projecting it smoothly in a pleasant voice. And I'll give you one example. So what they say about Amen is that it starts with the letter Aleph or Ah. Ah is one of the primordial sounds that we make. You have the alphabet, you have alpha beta, you have Aleph Ba, and you have Aleph Be. There's a connection to it all, but Ah is the primordial sound that we make, like when you go to the doctor and they tell you to stick out your tongue, you say Ah. So this is just like, basic stuff. So
Oh, this is
th-
good. So, in someone, if they were doing that practice, they would chant that over and over and over and over and over, or more silently in their mind as a mantra. What do you suggest?
I would suggest during your prayer services, especially like when you're in community, say it with heart. Don't try and overpower people. Try and do it project it with a smoothness, if you
Mm-hmm.
can,
Mm-hmm.
and say it again and again and again. But basically, you want to join the community, because what you're looking to do is that you're looking to create a group frequency. That's why people pray in prayer, and so that's actually where a lot of the magic happens, is when you hit that group frequency, and everybody can kind of feel it because it's thick. Everybody hits the same note. It's called harmony. When somebody's doing what they call a cappella song.
Acapella.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
when they're doing
Uh-huh.
it, you got like
Uh-huh.
three people and stuff,
Yeah.
and they hit like that. They hit that note. So the first place, good place to start with your meditation is doing that Amen. And so Amen is very interesting because it is like, as I mentioned before, it is a seal that you can
Mm-hmm.
use to seal your prayer.
Oh man, yeah. I think in last week's parsha, there's this whole section where there's two different tribes standing on different mountaintops, and they all say one thing, and everyone over here says "Amen." And it's like saying, I like to translate it as "right on" or "may it be so" or "truth." I heard a little Torah once that there was, I forget which Rebbe it was. He said his entire goal was to say a complete shacharit with full kavana, with full presence, with full intention. That was his life goal. And then quickly he realized that was a highly difficult thing to do. So he shortened the goal to just the Amidah, just the 18 blessings with full kavana, full presence, no distractions, no distracting thoughts. Then he realized that was really, really challenging too. So then he said, well, maybe I'll just say the response to the Kaddish, Yehi Shmei Rabbah, with full kavana, full intention, just one time. And then eventually he shortened it to just saying Amen one time with full kavana, right? Because there's something about the gift of the moment, which is why they call it the present, right? And you unwrap it, you got to be fully in it. So I think this is a great practice to start with, whether it's in your mind or even out loud. I think both work in concert.
Well, it's real good that you mentioned it because there's actually three ways that you can meditate. You can say things in a whisper, you can say things verbally, or you can say things internally. And so,
Beautiful. We should do a retreat together. I've been thinking about this, and I've been on several retreats lately, and I feel like the people that I know, we could do something amazing. So let's,
absolutely,
you know,
absolutely. I'm definitely into doing yoga retreats, getting people together, creating group harmonies, and feeling the presence of the magic because it's when you have community together that you really feel that akdu
hmm
and
it's unity. You're
unity.
hitting on the
So
right
that
word.
akdu, is also what they say is the definition of yoga, which is union.
Union, absolutely, Nachon. Okay, so we're getting ready for Rosh Hashanah. Here we are. We're coming back again. I had this. This isn't about me, but I had a couple things happen recently that were very powerful. I was meditating, and I had this moment of seeing my entire life as just basically one sitting meditation to the next, and some stuff that happens in between. It was like this holographic tunnel of all these 25 years of daily meditation. And sometimes I feel that way about the Hagim as well, and Shabbat specifically too. Like it, basically your entire life is just one Shabbat to the next, and some stuff happens in between. That's basically it,
Time is flying. It's
right?
moving by fast. It's
And
moving by
and same
fast.
with Rosh Hashanah. So what does this Rosh Hashanah mean to you and your family? And maybe you can give us a little tour on it.
Oh my gosh, this Rosh Hashanah that's coming up. There's a lot of things. I'd like to send out a prayer for Klal Israel, Am Sugala, that we actually be and do what we're called to do, to hold the Torah, keep the commandments, be a righteous people. For this Rosh Hashanah, I wish everybody that needs a healing or a full shlema. I wish everybody shalom bite because that's really something that's like needed is that peace in the homes. Wish a good education for the children. May they be guided, have the good guidance right now, and may they be protected. May they be given good principles and good foundations so that they can survive and have the proper skills to navigate through this world. And may we all pick up books just a little bit more, feel the paper, put down the screen, don't overmouse so much, but get back into some good book learning if we can, because the digital divide that's happening right now is for real. And so keep your books in your hand, read books. That's what I got to say.
Oh man. Okay. Well, we're definitely gonna have to do another episode because I know you're a fountain of wealth, and there's a lot more. I want it to people to experience more of your knowledge. So we'll definitely have to do a part two. But for now, we're gonna wrap up this episode. Anything else that you want to say before we wrap up? Any last things that you want to share?
I want to say again that it's been a wonderful experience in that community is really, really everything. And we've been so blessed to have the rabbis that we have out here and the teachers out here in the Bay Area. And it's just been a moment of pause because it's been a long time. And Saul asked, is there anybody, I actually want to give a shout out. I want to say, give thanks, to the host of this place is letting us have this podcast. If he was here, I would actually have him blow the shofar for us, but he's not here right now. He's out probably doing a mitzvah for some good deed. Um,
We could find a shofar around here. I bet we could do it.
there's one,
Yeah.
one right behind you because we are supposed to do that. So if Saul wants to do it,
Yeah. Well, let's turn the volume down, ladies and gentlemen. Give me a little tequila.
okay, Takia. True.
Shavarim.
Shvarim, that's the part. Takia Gagola. right. L'Shana Haba Yerushalayim.
Oh man. All right. Well, I'm gonna give you a quick blessing before we go, before I pass out here. Hashem should bless you and your family with Simcha, Shalom, Parnasa, and that the wellspring of knowledge that you have acquired over the last 20, 30 years and immersing yourself in our tradition should be easily accessible to people that come to you for that knowledge, because you have a specific vehicle, specific way of delivering the content that's unique to you. And there's certainly a midrash that says lights from outside of Torah have to come through the Torah to shine new insights. And you are certainly one of those bright lights. And I just want to bless you with great success. And most importantly, shalom.
Amen. God bless you, soul.
Nice to have you, my man.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova. Amen.
It's Friday.